for the cloud. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the June Kubernetes GitHub admin team meeting. This might be a fairly light meeting today. Just as a general reminder for folk, these meetings are recorded and will be posted on the internet. We also abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which essentially boils down to please be excellent to each other. The first real big thing on our list is the easy CLA migration. So this is to move away from the current CLA bot being used, and there's some initial discussion about it, I think back in May, but things sort of went dormant for a bit, and it's picking back up now. For me, the big blockers for us are all of our GitHub org members exist in both systems correctly, because they are our most active contributors, and it works with our CI. We have not been able to validate either condition yet. I passed off a gist with all our GitHub org members, the Easy CLA team, this morning, but we need to test it with our CI somehow. And I think that is really just like setting it up with a test repo and test organization.
I agree that we have to try it like somewhere before we massively roll it out to the whole Kubernetes world on GitHub.
We can also like enable prow for an external, like another organization or repo if we want to test externally. But like, to me, that is the biggest blocker. If it does not work with our CLI, if the labels are not set correctly, then it is 100% no-go. Would folks sort of agree with that?
I agree with this.
Yeah. I think, at least for our, like, the general time frame that they were originally aiming for was after code freeze, because then traffic should be fairly minimal. That's probably the best time to roll it out. At this time, I don't think we'll be able to make that deadline. I am not exactly sure what the next best time would be. Probably before thaw, if at all possible. So still during code freeze, code freeze, but not immediately after it. I'm just looking at the dates right now.
Code freeze is July 8th.
Yep. And test freeze is July 15th. And it looks like, when is thaw? Thaw is August 4th. So preferably, I'm just looking at the schedule here. So preferably, probably by July 20, like the week of July 20th, I think would be the next best potential deadline if we want to rush this. And that gives
July
us
20,
yeah.
Right? Like the end of July.
Yeah, because that, put up my calendar quick. So sorry, the week of July 19th. I was just like, that might be the next potential good window to do it. It'll be after test freeze, which is the 15th. There'll be plenty of time for stuff to bake. that still gives us, you know, a little less than a month to get there.
What should be done from the Kubernetes side, like from our side to take care of this, like any
So-
action items?
For Kubernetes, it's whatever we need to do to actually test the easy CLA on our side.
Mhm.
So that might be setting up another organization and configuring Proud to do it. Plus all the messaging. That's honestly one of the bigger concerns that I have. Just like, I really don't want to send something out saying we're going to migrate to easy CLA, because it's also like it's no longer using like the check CLA command. It's using /easy CLA and some other stuff. Until it's actually tested and we have sort of a go, no go, like we're definitely going forward with it. But to do that, we would have to like get testing done now. The next potential one might be in between releases. So like August 4th.
Probably this is the better date. My only concern is that this can be like a potentially deprecation period. So just to make sure that like everyone who is responsible for this and can take any reaction in a case of like of an emergency, they will be available.
Yeah, we'll be able to roll back. I would say okay. Yeah. So I think next steps would be, let's talk about, bring up the potential secondary deadline of August, or the secondary timeframe of like August 4th after thaw, in GitHub management Slack, and try and get consensus there as the next potential deadline. Other than that, it's working with the CNCF Easy CLA team to make sure that we can test it with our CI.
Yeah, it's LFX Easy CLA team actually.
Or sorry, yeah. It's CNCF Slack to me, so that's
Yes,
like where.
it's almost the same, but that's still different.
Yeah. Hey, Nikita, we were just talking about the Easy CLA stuff.
Okay. Hi, sorry for being really late last meeting. And yeah, it's been like a very back-to-back meeting kind of day.
Yeah, I'm in 6.5 hours of meetings today.
Oh no. Sorry, yeah, don't mean to interrupt.
Oh no. So at this point, don't think we're going to make the code freeze deadline that we were initially talking about, because that's not too far away. The next potential window for us to roll this out would probably be, I think it's the week of August 4th, which is after code thaw. It's sort of the first week of the next, it's sort of in between cycles, in between release cycles. What do you think on that one?
Are you asking me or myself?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
my point on this is to run at the beginning of August. And my only concern was that it's like potentially the vacations period. So let's do it only, like, we want to make sure that everybody who is involved, should be involved into this, will be available during these dates for the potential rollback, if anything will go wrong. I'm not on vacation at that time personally, but I'm not the only person here.
Yeah. So yeah, the next, we're going to poke in GitHub management to try and coordinate a next potential, like make sure that date or time frame would work well with everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think with that, Aaron tossed a few things on there, but he's not, sorry. Does anyone else want to talk about the easy CLA stuff? I didn't mean to just jump to the next things on the agenda.
Do we want to at least, I don't know, like set milestones or something if we're targeting August 4th? I mean, it just keeps slipping from my radar.
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of GitHub management folks right now. So if you could just say, we want to evaluate easy CLA and then look at potentially adopting it. I mean, August 4 would probably be like the rollout day, but just
The
analyzing easy CLA. Yeah.
The one thing I want to probably potentially before we start establishing those milestones is to make sure that we can actually set up testing with another org. Like once we verify that we can actually test it, then we can start building that time frame. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yep, that does.
Yeah. If it doesn't work with our CI, that means it's a no-go. It doesn't matter what the data is. It's just a no-go. So sorry, any other easy CLA fun stuff? Okay, we'll skip over Aaron's stuff as he's not here. Oh no?
Yes. So I'm working on Migrate Pro from Google to locate infra. In the migration plan, we decide to try to have a complete separate GitHub bot for any test we want to run using a staging Pro instance. But the thing is, we need to make this new bot owner of the Kits organization. And we want to scope the action of the bot to two very specific repo, which is case.io repo and contributor playground in Kubernetes SIG organization. So Christoph had some concern about the security aspect of this bot. So I came to these meetings to talk about this and see if we can get some approval. Right now, basically how to access to the bot, to the GitHub account for this bot is we use a mailing list under the kubernetes.io domain, and we activate MFA for this account, and only me and Spefix can access to that.
Unfortunately, Christoph's not here at the moment, and I probably don't know enough about all the ramifications to be able to really comment. Nikita, do you?
I'm looking at the PR right now, and I have the same questions that Christoph has. Can you, like, I mean, not blocking this, but like just trying to understand more about why we're doing this or not. Can you add more context on, I guess it's like linked in the PR, so maybe one or two liner about who's going to be behind this, so like you and Aaron, I guess.
Yes.
Which mailing list it is, and why we are adding a new bot instead of using an existing one.
Okay, so I will put all the detail in the pull request, but we don't necessarily need a new bot. We want a staging bot to basically test the usage of tool pro control plane against the same build cluster. And we want to see if we can basically have, yes, two bots running against some pull requests to basically
test.
Identify, yeah, it's about testing and basically identify what's the migration plan from Pro, because I think the idea is to do the migration on the fly, so we don't have to basically have a maintenance windows for Pro.
Okay.
And in order to do that, we want to basically have a staging instance of Pro, a staging bot for that.
Got it. Is there a particular reason why we're doing this also for the K-start.io repo? Like, I'm just wondering if it doesn't work out and we cannot have two birds, or it just leads to some other problems. It affects a lot of contributor PR workflow in the K-start.io repo. So should we just like do it for the contributor playground repo first, because like that's a scratch repo that we can use for these things.
Yeah, I mean, in the configuration, we can just basically have the configuration of Pro in the pull request. But the thing is, we need to make that bot owner of Kubernetes SIG, at least, if we want to just scope the action of this bot, because we want him to do some pull request merging for some post submit project. So
does it just need admin access on the repository, or does it need admin access for the whole org?
On the repository.
Oh, so if it just needs admin access on the repo, that's not too bad. That's like pretty easy to test.
That's doable, yeah. Yeah.
So I was not sure if I need basically admin access to the org, because I think, wait.
Yeah, adding an org account is a pretty big thing. So it might, I mean, we just like to do a lot of vetting and checking for that. But if it's just like, if it just needs admin access to the repo, that's easier.
I dropped the link on my pull request for the Pro configuration in the Zoom chat. So if you can basically comment and tell me which plugin I can activate, or basically how to scope the action of this bot at the repo level. So we want to basically at least have contributor playground and case.io repo, so we can simplify the test.
I'll take a look tomorrow morning.
Okay. No rush in that. So I think everyone is busy right now, so no rush about that. I think it's possible we can also see that as an opportunity to replace the KCI robot, because it's owned by Google, and access to that is kind of tricky for Googlers, because the password for this account is stored in the internal password manager at Google. So we may also see that as an opportunity to replace the current KCI robot. And I think that's why I was pushing for 1Password, so we can.
Yeah, that's on me. I promise I will literally do that this weekend.
It's fine for me. So just we'll look at some alternative to basically manage the bot and Pro directly by the community. But in order to do that, we need to identify what are the blocker for the Pro migration.
Do you want CNCF to take care of the 1Password account for Kubernetes? Or you already have it and there's a different issue?
It's mostly just time and getting it all set up and configured. We wanted so that way steering would have sort of break glass access to the accounts as a just in case, like, something happens to a SIG, or for whatever reason, it's going to be the best escalation path. So it's not just owned by like the ContribEx leads. I am also open to the idea of CNCF being the potential top level owner. I would just bounce that off the other steering leads. Does the CNCF have like a global sort of 1Password one right now?
We don't have it right now. Like, we have the LastPass, for example, which we are offering to the projects. But as since 1Password have started offering this to other to the open source projects for free, so we can apply and receive receive an access to it. I'm just not sure if Kubernetes has applied or not. And if not, so we can do it for you.
No,
CNCF, I mean.
the one sort of gotcha with this is that you have to like re-up as a open source account every year.
Yeah, that's totally fine, I assume. At least you like with the one password, at least from my personal experience, because I don't use one password anymore for my personal stuff, but you always have the read-only access to it. So even if your subscription expires, you still you are able to access it.
Okay.
And like make a dump of everything that is stored there and migrate it somewhere. So like if, let's say next year you prefer Bitwarden for this, so you can migrate everything from one password even after your subscription will expire. It's basically what CNCF can do, because this is one of our, let's say, service desk services. So this is like totally can be done.
Okay. Let me talk to steering. If not, like no matter what, I will get it set up this weekend.
Sure. I mean, like, just let me know if you need any CNCF assistance.
Yep, I will. So are we, in general, are you good at this point? Do you have your answer? Do you have enough information to move forward?
Yeah, I will update the pull request to make the bot owner for this specific repo.
Okay. It will also have to be added as an org member if it's not already.
Not yet. I think I can update the pull request for that.
Okay. We have 2 minutes left. Is there anything anyone else wants to discuss really quick?
The new GitHub feature about project management.
I will probably next week. The request is already like, we've been shortlisted for it for a long time now.
I'm a volunteer for.
It will be org-wide for at least Kubernetes and Kubernetes SIGs. It will be discussed at our Ihor. They brought in the PM for the entire project to the monthly sync with GitHub. So if you can make it next week to the GitHub sync.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.
Okay. I think with that, that's all for today. So I'll just go ahead and stop the recording.